Holy shit, we're recording. So, welcome to the first ever episode of TED Talks. Why the fuck am I starting a podcast? I don't know. Just because I'm so tired of posting YouTube videos and the comment section just being full of, why is this guy so good looking? I can't pay attention to the amazing information in this YouTube video because you're just so sexy. Also, the comments saying, oh, this is talking porn right now. This is not even a YouTube video. Yeah, so I'm just sick of that. So I started this podcast. So, quick message from our sponsor before we start. Attention, if you or a loved one was diagnosed with mesothelioma, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Mesothelioma is a rare cancer linked to asbestos exposure. Exposure to asbestos in the Navy, shipyards, mills, heating, construction, or the automotive industries may put you at risk. Please don't wait. Call 1-800-69-LAW-USA today for a free legal consultation and a financial information packet. Mesothelioma patients call now. 1-800-69-LAW-USA. Okay, thank you for waiting. So our first episode is going to be all about this Q&A I just did on Instagram. So if you ask me questions on Instagram, I'm going to bring them up in here in this podcast and talk about them more in depth, right? I can't give a ton of answers on Instagram Q&As or jump into all the nuance and details going off the question, right? So you can DM me questions to bring on the podcast through my Instagram, which is Ted Shreds, or you can email me at teddygorman@gmail.com or tedgormanpt@gmail.com. Either one works. And just mention that you have a question for the podcast, and I'll be sure to probably answer you specifically right there, and then I'll bring it on the podcast as well. So this first question is from, I don't know if I'll read names. I think it's better to keep it anonymous, actually. If you have to take, this is the question. If you have to take a week off to rest an injury for whatever reason, so not just an injury, what should change with your protein and calorie intake? And I'm talking like a minor injury, a week's rest max, so not long-term change in diet. So let's make this a little bit broader, right? Here we go, yawning. What do people do when they yawn in a podcast? They edit it out? I'm not editing shit. I'm just uploading this after I'm done. But let's say you're injured or you go on vacation, right? Christmas and shit is coming up right now. So let's say you're traveling, you won't have access to the gym for a week, etc. And let's say your goal is fat loss, right? So you're eating in a calorie deficit, but you're not going to train for the next week. What should you do in terms of your diet? The short answer is nothing. Don't do shit with your diet. Keep it the same as you were eating before. The only thing I would consider is to bring it back up to maintenance. Bring your calories up, depending on how big your deficit is, bring them back up 300 to 600 calories, 800 calories, right? And eat at maintenance for that week, because eating in a deficit when you're not weight training is a recipe to lose muscle, right? Because one of the ways you keep muscle on your body and sustain the muscle that you already have in a deficit is by, number one, providing adequate stimulus through weight training, right? And number two, eating adequate protein to rebuild that muscle that you damaged. I'm not saying damaging your muscle is the way to build muscle. I'm saying you do damage your muscle in weight training sessions, right? And protein, sleep, that stuff that repairs those broken muscles. Broken muscles, damaged muscles. But yeah, I wouldn't change anything to your diet. If anything, I would go to maintenance. So you could stay in the deficit if you want to, but personally, if I was coaching somebody and this was a client asking me, like, hey, I'm not going to have gym access for this, and we're in a deficit, should we change anything? We'd go up to maintenance immediately. Why? Because that's a perfect little diet break right there. One of the things that you see with a bunch of coaches or a bunch of personal trainers, nutrition coaches, etc., is you take reverse diets, or you do reverse diets for in phases during a deficit, right? And that's something that I don't do, because it naturally happens with every single client I've ever had. Is a vacation will come up, or they're going to their in-laws' house for the weekend, or they want to take their kid out for ice cream, etc. Things come up where they're like, hey, they text me and they're like, hey, what do I do? This is happening. And then that's literally the perfect time to take a little diet break, right? So that natural diet breaks come up, and when they do come up, embrace them, because number one, you won't have to take a scheduled one. and it will be healthy, right? So if you are injured or you're on vacation or for whatever reason you do not have gym access and you're in a deficit, go to maintenance for that week and you will be fine. Next question here. Let's see. Okay, this is a good one. Is eating the same thing every day the most optimal way to eat for muscle growth or fat loss? One more time. Is eating the same thing every day the most optimal way to lose fat or build muscle, basically, right? So that's a great question, because if you've ever seen anything online, there's like the typical bodybuilder meal plan. You know exactly what I'm talking about right now. If you've heard that, I've seen that online, you know I'm talking about chicken, rice, broccoli, and that chicken's unseasoned. That broccoli looks horrible, maybe steamed, but like not enough, right? It looks hard still. And then that rice is just white rice. What the fuck, right? No soy sauce, nothing on the chicken. Never. But seriously, is it optimal to eat the same thing every day to build muscle or to lose fat? Well, that depends, doesn't it? And that's something I can't cover in an IG Q&A. So, why does it depend? Well, number one, do you like what you're eating every day? If that answer is yes, then keep doing it. That is optimal, right? If you're enjoying what you're eating and it's the same thing every day and you're getting micronutrients in, you're eating fruits and vegetables, holy shit. Seriously though, do podcast people never yawn? Because I've yawned like 4 times already. So they just edit that out. Let me know, guys. DM me and let me know. But yeah, do you like that? Do you like the food that you're eating? Because if you genuinely do enjoy it and you're eating fruits and vegetables, you're hitting your protein goal, you're not under eating fats, you're not overeating carbs, then that is optimal, right? But let's say, for example, you just hired a coach and he gives you a fucking meal plan of something similar to chicken, rice, and broccoli, or egg whites only for fucking breakfast, egg whites and oatmeal, right? With a protein shake. And you fucking hate it. And you're supposed to eat that every day no, that's not how me and my clients do it. How we do it is we set up a little bit of a flexible meal plan that even outside of that flexible meal plan, you can still go outside of it, right? So what we do is the number one thing, by the way, whether you're trying to build muscle or lose fat, is calories. That is the number one priority, because if you don't eat under your calorie maintenance, you're not going to lose fat. And if you don't eat over your calorie maintenance, you're not going to optimize muscle growth and your energy levels to push those training sessions hard enough, right? So that's always number one, is you need a calorie goal if you're trying to optimize things, right? Number two, you need that protein goal and you need to be hitting that. Outside of that, that's where all the nuance comes into play, right? So that's where you set up meals for yourself. How many times do you like to eat throughout the day? For some people, they like having 3 to 4 meals every single day. Other people, Ralph, one of my clients, Ralph, if you're listening to this, what's up, man? He likes to eat 1 or 2 times a day, and he fucking likes that. We've had many conversations over the phone. He likes that. So that's what we do, right? And maybe a 1 or 2 snacks as well. But the thing is after you get that down, right? How many meals do you want to eat? Generally, just first thing that comes to mind. How many do you like to eat? Do you like eating breakfast? Answer those questions for yourself. Once you come up with those answers, then you start creating the outlines for what you're going to eat for those meals, right? So I'll have clients tell me 3 to 4 options that they think they would like, or they do like, or that they already eat. And then I'll make a little bit of adjustments to that by reducing the calories or reducing the fat in those meals, or increasing the volume in those meals, increasing the protein in those meals, but still keeping it to something that they like to eat or they're already eating, right? So it's not a big life change. And oftentimes people's diets or tastes will differ over the course of a year or two, right? So then we'll change that as well throughout. But for example, I'll give you an example of me, what a typical thing for me would be. So I like for breakfast to either have my protein shake, which is frozen fruit, scoops of protein from Transparent Labs, code TED to save on that, by the way, with creatine and either water or milk, depending on what my goals are, weight gain or loss, right? And then another option I can have for breakfast is Greek yogurt with blueberries, sometimes strawberries, but I like Boobs better. And then granola, peanut butter clusters by Kind. Not sponsored. I just love them. Actually, shout out my client Pat. He showed me that granola brand. But that's another option. Another option is I love to have some eggs For me, that's 1 to 3 whole eggs with 100 to 300 grams of egg whites plus fat-free cheese. And then, of course, all of this is gonna, like, transform, right? Whether you're bulking, whether you're cutting, like, if I'm bulking, I'll use less I won't even use egg whites, to be honest, and then I'll still use fat-free cheese because there's no reason not to. But then I'll put that into a wrap and make a bomb-ass burrito with some bacon. Amazing. But if I'm not, I'll just have the eggs with cheese. Still delicious, just a little bit less, right? That's what you want to look at. There's my breakfast. Lunch and dinner kind of changes. But for example, you don't have to be eating. I'm a personal trainer and nutrition coach. I'm right now I'm shredded with six-pack abs. My lunch the other day was 2 tortillas with 50 grams of peanut butter on each of them. That's like a little kid meal. You can eat like that and be a responsible adult, because my other meals had fruits and vegetables in them. You can still be a responsible adult and eat the same things you'd make for your kids. Um, so I kind of just ranted. Wow, I could see how podcasts go on for so long, because I just ranted about eating the same thing every day being optimal or not. But the short answer is no, right? I mean, if you like it, keep going. But I've worked with so many people, and I've only had, like, I think 2 people who love eating the same thing at the same times every day with no variation. So it depends on you, right? What I just laid out, though, is a beautiful way to create a meal plan, a flexible meal plan for yourself. So I think that was really helpful, and it's time to move on to the next question. My next question was, well, there's tons of questions. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm just trying to pick out the ones I think will be most helpful to you. So, can I reduce the size of my calves? That's another question I got. So this was by a gentleman, and I DM'd him. I didn't answer this publicly on my story because, I wanted to be a little bit more specific to his answer. And I asked him, I said, "What are you trying to do? Are you trying to reduce the size of the muscle in your calves or the fat in your calves?" Because this is a pretty I kind of knew where this was going, right? So he said fat. And I was like, there you go, man. You want to get into a calorie deficit, blah, 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 right? So let me help you, right? Make this specific to you. If you have an area of your body right now where you're like, fuck this part of my body, fuck it. Like, you just grab it with both your hands. You're like, fuck this part of my body. I want it gone, like your stomach maybe, right? And you're like, I want to make this smaller. I need a shrink gun or something, right? The only way to make that body part smaller or reduce the amount of fat you have on that body part is to eat in a calorie deficit and lose fat, right? You cannot target fat on any part of your body. It's just impossible. It's not scientifically possible. But what you can guarantee is fat loss. You can lose fat all over your body. And what happens is your body will pull stored fat from all over your body. So that is the only way to reduce fat in a specific part of your body, is just eating in a calorie deficit and trying to lose fat overall. Another question I got, some of these are personal, like they wouldn't be helpful to you. Like, what's your favorite tattoo? I think my favorite tattoo is my skeleton. They're all stoic, by the way. All my tattoos are based on stoic principles. Hey, another one, how to get rid of man boobs. Same answer as the calf question. Is eating an omelet okay with low oil? Absolutely. Let me see. Oh, here's a great one. What? Oh no. Yeah, I want this one. How to manage daily calorie intake if I didn't track calories burned through exercise. This is so good, right? So, when you go to the gym and you get on Stairmaster or the treadmill or the rowing machine or the bike, etc., right? One of those cardio machines, and you put in some work for 30 minutes, right? Maybe even an hour. Listen to this podcast, right? While you're doing it. And you put in some absolute work. You're drenched in sweat. You're getting self-conscious because you're like, fuck, do I have sweat stains on my ass right now? And can other people see them? Are they going to take pictures of me and post it on TikTok, etc., right? We've all been there. Don't lie. And we've all got home and looked in the mirror and seen that we indeed do have sweat stains on our ass. And it looks like we pissed our pants. However, let's get back to how to manage daily calorie intake if I didn't track calories burned through exercise. Those machines that tell you after that 30 to 60 minute cardio session, you just burn 300, 700, 1,000 calories. They're pulling that number out of their fucking ass. Those numbers are so inaccurate. I'm talking to you right now, and I'm wearing an Apple Watch. Let me look at it. It says I've burned 686 calories already today. That couldn't be farther from the truth. I went to the gym for 30 minutes, did chest and shoulders, and I haven't done any cardio, no walk. I went to the gym, ate breakfast, started work. It's 2 p.m. right now. I'm recording this podcast. Done nothing. So these trackers are very inaccurate, and I don't know why they even program the way they did. Anyways, that's not important. What's important is do not even focus for a millisecond on calories burned through exercise unless you're a fucking athlete or you're training for a 10K or more, not even a 5K. At least you're running like 35 miles a week or more, right? If you're doing that, maybe but even then, you wouldn't want to track your calories burned through exercise because it's irrelevant. If you can find your calorie maintenance, right? What am I saying? That means how many calories it takes to maintain your body weight, right? I hope you didn't just hear me swallow. My lips are so dry right now. I need to drink some water. 16 minutes into this thing. How do people do it? But let's say you're drinking, let's say you maintain your weight at 2,500 calories, right? That means if you eat 2,500 calories every single day, you will not gain weight, you will not lose weight, right? So why would you need to track the calories you burn through exercise? It's irrelevant. You already know how much energy it takes to maintain your body weight. If you've suddenly become an ultra marathon runner, and you're running, I don't know anything about ultra marathon running, and you're running 10 miles a day, right? Even tracking, why would you start tracking your calories? Just increase your calories and then find your new maintenance. It's irrelevant to know how many calories you're burning through exercise. It's also something that you're not going to find out because there's no accurate way to track it unless you're in a lab with those oxygen masks on, the heart rate monitor on a treadmill with all those scientists standing around you. I think it's a metabolic lab. I'm not sure. But do not give a fuck about calories burned through exercise is my number one tip to you. Do not. I think that's it for now. I'm having problems like talking. I need to drink some water. 17 minutes into this podcast. I don't know how people do it. But yeah. If you made it here, let me know. DM me, email me, and ask me some questions to answer on the next podcast. I hope you have a great day. Do something to chase your dreams today, and I'll talk to you soon.